Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Dads in the Six review. We are bringing you our first ever review on any product ever. What we're going to talk about today is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So if you're going to like that, follow us on all the social medias below. Hit that subscribe button. And a little point of note here. We're going to do probably the first 5 minutes of this spoiler-free, give or take. No, give or take on the minutes, not spoilers. And then after that, we'll give you a clear indication. We'll jump into spoilers. And then we'll finish off review.
Can we put like a big red thing that says spoilers?
Probably, yeah. That'd be the good way to go.
Oh, if you're willing. Usually we say these things and you don't do them. So
that'll do.
All right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, we watched it on release day, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So there's our poster.
As proof that we went.
Proof. Get the free poster watching in IMAX. So yeah, let's kind of just jump right into it. So this is the first of the spin-off anthology Star Wars movies that are coming in between the numbered of the new trilogy. So yeah, Rogue One, what did you guys kind of think?
It was awesome.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
I think saying top 2 Star Wars might be a bit extreme at this point in time, but I think it's definitely top 3.
I really enjoyed it. I think this is definitely up there in like the top tier of Star Wars movies. I'm a little hesitant because I think after every new Star Wars movie since the prequels, like episodes 1, 2, 3, and 7, there's been like this rose-colored glasses everybody has, and then you take a step back and you're like, well,
you get to pick it apart.
That was the Phantom Menace, and that was horrible.
Yeah, those aside, but I think the other ones were phenomenal. This one was great. The way I've never been a huge Star Wars fan. Like I'm not blown away. I don't have these on my tree.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
This guy's awesome. So I kind of need to be able to go into this movie, and I do know the background. You educate me beforehand. I had to ask you.
We had a whole
week.
topic on it.
Yeah, you educated me on like
podcast.
where this movie falls in the whole history timeline of the Wars of Stars. And so I have an idea, but I like being able to go into this movie and not know what the hell's going on. Mm-hmm. And I think this movie, you had to know a little bit.
Yes,
you had to know a little bit. You couldn't just walk in not knowing anything. I think it's too much info. You need to know if you have the background, I think you appreciate it that much more.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, you'd need to have watched 4, the very first Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I think that's like bare minimum.
Yeah, and one of my points, like when I was thinking that I would touch on in this part and in the spoiler part later, but I think you're right, is as much as this is like a spin-off anthology movie, forget that. Like this might as well be Star Wars 3.5, like, you know, in between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah, it still fits in the very trilogy timeline, whereas Han Solo movie that comes out is going to be way over there.
Way over there.
Yeah.
Whatever the other anthology, like there's so much fan service, there's so much direct connection that goes almost unexplained at some parts that, yeah, if you haven't watched episode 4, if you're not a fan and this is just for some reason the first Star Wars movie you've ever watched, I feel like it won't hit those beats for you. And I think you might actually, I think you wouldn't, I can't say how you wouldn't enjoy this movie, but I don't think it would hit on the levels that it's definitely a Star Wars fan like gift, like here.
Yeah. But, you know, we were at the theater today and we saw a lot of little kids.
Yeah.
Those kids probably didn't watch 4, 5, and 6, right?
Depends.
So if
they have horrible parents, then yes, they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I don't think they've been alive long enough to watch them. Like, give them another few years. They were like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. They were pretty young kids. Maybe not 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8, but they were still pretty young kids. And again, I think from their point of view, this is new for them. Mm-hmm. They may go back and watch the other ones later, but this is a lot of the time like the start point, the jump off point for them.
Yeah, to just jump into this movie and go see this, and this is your first Star Wars movie. The problem with the movie doesn't have a, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but it doesn't have a natural, satisfying like conclusion.
Yeah,
we can get into this later, but like it gets to a point like there's obviously like a big final thing, but there's no like finality to the movie. There's no like,
and if you don't know what's going on,
story.
The way it ends is just
you gotta watch
like
4 to get this other piece of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely not a random standalone movie. I don't know if that's what intended to be. It's not.
I think. It's
not. It is a prequel to 4.
It is a prequel to 4 and essentially a prequel to the original trilogy. Like this really sets up the Empire, and it shows you that you don't mess around with the Empire. You know, you don't mess around with the people in it.
In comics, they do like there's always an issue 1 in comics, but often they'll put out a 0. This felt like a 0.
Yeah. Just gives you that extra little backstory. I mean, because you're really talking about I don't know, the time spent in this movie was probably like a few days. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like a few days leading up to episode 4, and sort of like this stuff happens. But anyways, that aside, I think it was an awesome movie. Whole new characters, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it kind of expanded on the universe. So, any thoughts? What you guys kind of thought on?
Would you want to jump into spoilers now? Like, is
No,
there much
no.
more
I
to
mean,
talk
can
about?
we
Let's
might,
just wrap up kind of our thoughts on the bigger picture and.
Yeah. I thought it was a good blend of brand new characters, brand new kind of things, but still encompassing Star Wars. It wasn't the Han Solo movie. I don't even think they're going to do it the way you're describing, where it's going to be like way over there. I know what they're going to, but people still need,
You need
like
that
these
tie-in.
people, right, in their world to make it a Star Wars movie. If you take away these things completely out of the movie, it's like another...
Sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's another sci-fi movie, right? This is what they are attracted to. So it had a good combination of the classics, if you will, while bringing in a whole new set of characters and storyline and whole different thing. I like the mix.
Yeah, and like, I mean, this gets very fluffy, and we're not deep into movies and stuff like we're not going to talk about the cinematography and directing.
I was going to.
Well, sure. I mean, the visuals were awesome. For the record, the visuals were
best looking Star Wars movie to date.
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, visuals were awesome. But I mean, like, to me, like, the familiarity in the characters even comes from like the Empire. Like the Empire itself is this character.
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And
And
it's
the
just
rebellion
like, and the rebels, the alliance. So it's just like, yeah, all that fit really good. The characters to me were good, not great. Like we were talking about this a little bit on the car here. Maybe I'm probably going to be in the minority of this. I get it. There's a lot of new characters in a 2-hour movie. You can't give them fleshed out backstories, but they didn't hit the beats for me too much in the sense of like, oh yeah, well, when this character does this, it hit me, or when it happened to this character, it hit me. I don't know. They were good, but not.
I'll touch more on that when we get to spoilers.
Definitely
but
not Jar Jar
Can we do
Binks.
that already? Like,
Yeah, let's just do that.
All right.
okay, good. Overall, good movie. Definitely watch it. If this is where
Definitely
you're
watch
ending,
it.
go watch it. Then come watch the second part of this.
Yeah,
review.
we're jumping into spoilers.
Jamie,
We
hit
do
it.
like a weird robot dance while I'm putting the spoiler thing up on the thing.
You guys do it. I'll watch. Lightspeed.
That's how I learned how to salsa.
I don't know what's going on.
Into
Anyways,
spoilers.
is it
All
up?
right, spoilers.
Okay,
Spoilers. Stop watching if you haven't watched Rogue One,
Okay.
or keep watching. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So,
The dude that dies.
Everyone dies.
Everyone
so
dies.
that's one of the things I liked about the movie was that no one had to survive this story, right? The more people that do survive leave lingering questions on like where are they now, right?
And I don't need where they are.
If Jyn
now.
Erso survived.
That's the thing. They
you know,
almost can't because the next story after this is already written. So
Right.
they can't bring characters into that world.
But if Jyn Erso survived, you'd be thinking now like when is she going to pop back up? It's
No,
Star Wars
you
movie.
wouldn't. You
Everyone's
would've watched
connected. You
episode
just assume these
4.
characters are going to come back.
You would have watched episode 4 and you'd have been like, where is she in episode 4?
Yeah, but,
No,
but
no.
if she wasn't in episode 4, 5, or 6,
Well, she
it's always
wasn't.
in the back of your mind that this character is alive somewhere in this universe. Kind of like how Darth Maul is alive.
It's
Everyone
not about.
asks where Darth Maul is.
It's not about retconning Jyn Erso into 4, 5, and 6. It's now they're gonna. It's an excuse to go back to these characters and create more spin-offs or throw them into episodes 8 or 9 somewhere. And it's just like we don't really need that. Like this was as much as it was a very much a prequel, despite it supposed to be a standalone. These characters were standalone. Like these characters, the
Literally,
Rogue One,
they all died.
yeah, Rogue One were standalone characters. The story was very much episode 3.5.
So he was saying he doesn't like a lot of the sub characters. I thought I actually did like them. It's tough though, like you said, to give a backstory and a meaning.
Who
to all these
didn't you like?
There's the Asian guy, his Asian, the
This
stick,
was
the stick
definitely-
pole.
Yeah.
The Jedi, the blind Jedi.
Yeah, and then his
Donnie
buddy,
buddy.
Donnie Yen's legit though. I love that. Guy.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rebel pilot or the Imperial pilot that defected.
Yeah.
I've
Guerrera. Son
saw like a saw.
Saw Guerrera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kept saying like son.
it's like it's spelled SAI ish.
Okay, Saw Gerrera. That guy seems like a legit character. That guy seems like he's got some wicked ass,
that
badass
character's
story.
actually in one of the cartoons. He did a little arc in one of the cartoons. We googled on the way over
You know
here.
what I mean? Because they give you a little glimpse of like, oh, you abandoned me, and then like, no, you didn't abandon you, and then he's wearing this badass outfit, carrying like a.
with two,
I'm pretty that's a flag for some country that exists in this planet.
and
Like,
two mech legs going on.
you know what I
he
mean?
needs a breather.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought that guy was Darth Vader.
So I had two little complaints about the movie. I'll get the complaints out of the way now because everything else is awesome. One, I didn't think that Psy needed to be this old, senile, like not all there old guy. I thought that just wasn't needed. And the other point I didn't like was the blind guy. Who is he? What is he doing here? The force is with
See,
me.
that's
I am
why.
one
Hold
with the
on.
force.
That's where I went to pre-spoilers. I talked about how this is not a standalone movie. They have to incorporate the classics. They have to incorporate a Jedi because they could have done this whole movie without a Jedi presence, right? Except for Vader, right? But they could have done it without any Jedi. But they had to. They had to literally throw in a limp ass Jedi in
He's
there.
not a Jedi though.
He's not a Jedi.
Well, he got the Force. He's got some
he's
Force.
in touch with the Force.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, sorry, not a Jedi. I'm sorry, my terminology's off. But you know what I mean.
But still, I just thought it was very gimmicky how he kept repeating that, and him and his buddy felt like something right out of a video game.
The character I liked the least was we forgot all their names already.
Yeah.
The blind guy's buddy.
Yeah, blind guy's buddy.
The Asian dude with the long.
Blind guy's buddy.
That guy had the least amount of story. He was just tagging along.
He's straight out of a Final Fantasy game or something.
See, if anything, I wanted more of a story on the blind guy because their throwaway sentence about who he was on Jeddah. And okay, we're jumping ahead, but like I'll come back to it. But he was on Jeddah because he was kind of like a guardian of the Jedi Temple.
Yes.
With no Jedi Temple really around anymore, he had no more use. But so like that's a really interesting because it's expanding the lore of Star Wars and the universe. And that's a whole real thing, like the Jedi temples and all that. And for the first
crystals,
time,
right? The
the Kyber crystals, which power the lightsabers and stuff. And that's very real. And like that's the first time we ever saw a Jedi temple in the Star Wars movies. Well, I guess in the prequels you saw Coruscant. I guess that kind of counts. But yeah. So you see like a Jedi temple, and it was kind of cool. You saw kind of a Jedi in the sand, the statue or whatever. So that's kind of cool lore, but it's just like you don't have time to explore it. So like when all these characters start dying, because they all die, which is awesome. Which is I think what I called that a couple months ago. I'm like, all these characters have to die. I didn't care. I didn't care. And
two deaths I did care about. One was her dad a little bit, and two, as gimmicky and cheesy as it was, them dying on the beach with the thing coming. That was really cheesy, I thought. That's the other point.
It was cheesy.
At least they didn't
But
kiss.
that one, yeah, I'm glad they didn't. That one got me a little.
Well,
bit.
because you create the connection, but I think
they're the main characters.
Kudos on Disney for going ahead and being like, yeah, we're gonna kill them, or whoever the writer or the director for going, yeah, we're gonna kill them all.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's always this innate thing where you're like, no, okay, we're gonna end them, but in like this whole thing where you don't actually,
Yeah, they didn't hold back.
they don't like they died.
Yeah.
Like I don't, if they ever brought him back, that's the sham of the century.
That's the best thing they did.
They killed him, like, no doubt.
Best scene in the movie though was I applaud how much they used Darth Vader for sure. Like it was just the right amount. Nick and I had talked before the movie, and we're like, how much do we want Vader in the movie? And I wish they wouldn't have spoiled that in the trailers, but that's another thing.
That Vader was in there.
Yeah, it was in the trailer. Like they didn't need that's not going to
Twice.
sell a single other ticket. If you're seeing this movie, you're seeing it, and if you're not, you're not. There's no one that was not going to see this movie that's like, oh, Darth Vader's in it.
Children. People identify this movie by these characters right in front of us. That would identify Star Wars. So this is still a Star Wars movie. So, like, maybe fuck that guy, right? This guy's all up in that movie. That guy's not in the movie. So you have to put one of these in because that's a draw for people. People who are in it, invested, right, are going to watch it regardless. But you got to anticipate the new audience. This is a Disney movie. This is geared towards a newer, younger audience. So how do you bring that new audience? That guy. That guy brings people in.
I would have rather they showed C-3PO in the trailer.
But
ultimately,
ultimately, a 12-year-old might know who this is. Might.
I think there's a really good chance.
Yeah. They know who this is, right? They might. Yeah, 90%, 80%, 100%.
Okay, we're getting into the weeds about Disney marketing in a trailer. The point is,
and they know who this is too.
The point is, they put Darth Vader in the trailer. If they didn't, they would have sold maybe one less ticket. You know what I mean? Like, You're right. Like, this wouldn't have sold more. It's just a marketing thing. It creates hype and demand.
The best scene in the movie, though, was the very last Darth Vader scene. We can't not talk about that.
That one?
No, where he started throwing the
yeah,
rebels
yeah,
everywhere.
okay, yeah, I forgot
That's all he wanted, I think, out of Darth Vader.
And again, when I was talking about I want Vader in this movie, I wanted him to do exactly that, but I thought he would do it more towards Rogue One, like the actual rebels.
And I fought him on this point in the car ride.
Yeah,
The Empire doesn't even know who the fuck Rogue One is. Even like the very final thing where when she's on the satellite tower and the main bad guy of the movie comes up like, who are you? Right? So for Darth Vader to be in front of these people, the whole point was the rebels caught them off guard. So I think it would have been weird for Darth Vader to have this weird...
My argument is that they're after the most important piece of information that the Empire's ever seen. That's why they sent Vader. So Vader full well could have ended up in a room with these motherfuckers and just said...
They could have. But then that almost undermines Vader. I think this Vader he killed everyone's ass. Had they put Rogue One in front of Vader, the crew there,
I think that's so.
He would have killed them.
That falls into a movie trope though. Like you always have the big bad guy,
and then or they get away.
I'm just okay. Now let's get into hypotheticals then. My ideal scene of how that would have worked out. Jin's on top of the satellite tower. You know, she's uploading it. Imagine the threat of Vader 10 feet behind her.
Brings down an X-Wing and just into her face.
Hunting her down. Because the only reason he didn't get to Rogue One is because they handed off the plans.
Yeah.
He went off after just as much nobodies as if he would have encountered... If he would have encountered our heroes, it would have, like, the epicness of, like, him chasing them. The last two people. I'm just saying.
But that though, if that all did happen,
and then Jin's death would have been less cheesy on a beach hugging the.
Yeah, but I think that also then would have taken away from Darth Vader's actual scene, which leads into.
I was picturing Darth Vader's scene with the Rogue One.
But I'm just saying that.
But then I think it takes away from Episode 4 a little bit, because we already know how that scene almost played out in Episode 4. You know what I mean?
Plus, your whole scene wouldn't work necessarily because that tower and that whole fucking country or planet gets destroyed by Death Star.
No, I know this is all
hypothetical. So yeah, but
retcon. Once they said we're blowing up,
I think you're getting nitpicky. I think you got what you wanted. Him kicking ass right at the end, just forcing and just lightsabering everybody, and it got the effect. It got the badass effect of Vader down pat. I think it did. You could have had more of it.
I liked it because they had two scenes with Vader in the movie. They had him essentially talking business and politics with the Admiral, and again showing
who really runs that show. Who's in charge there?
He wasn't in the movie. The Emperor?
Yeah, he wasn't in the movie at all.
No, but you had Vader talking business and just showing just like he does in the original trilogy, like all these admirals and stuff. Like they're dispensable to him. Like he does it in episode 4. Like he kills them on the spot. And if you're useless to him or you fail, you're done. So you had those two Vaders. You had like talking business, doing business, don't mess with me, get your job done, or I'll force choke you to death. And then you just had Vader, my saber's on, just it's fucking everybody
beast
up.
mode,
beast mode Vader. So you got both kinds of Vaders, and those were only two scenes with him. And
yeah, it was classic Vader. And again, this goes back to it. They had to incorporate it, and they classic.
I was so drawn into this. I was so drawn into this not being a typical Star Wars movie that when he actually did pop that lightsaber, I wasn't expecting it. Like when he popped the lightsaber, it was like, oh yeah, we're watching a Star Wars movie for a second here.
Yeah. You needed the light. Yeah.
That
was
scene
beautiful.
where it's just like the door, but there's smoke, so you don't see the door pop open, but now you just hear his breathing. The music's done, and I think I even said this before. This is how I wanted it: no music, breathing, saber on, and then he just.
A couple other points I wanted to make. Sorry, did you have
one thing. What was up? What was up with that octopus? What did that octopus do?
Thing?
It was mind reader.
It just helps you tell the truth or something. I don't know. Dude.
It was
pointless. Pointless octopus.
That's why the whole
he could have gone from in front of the dude, Sol Guerrera, to prison, not have that octopus scene in there, and nothing would have changed. But that octopus.
I think they wanted to find out if he was telling the truth, which didn't matter.
Didn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Whole Saw Gerrera, I don't know. That was probably
that was the one.
But the octopus just kind of threw me way. Like, why is that octopus there?
That was the one misbeat I think in the whole movie was the whole Psy storyline. But anyways, other stuff I really loved is at moments I felt like part Jurassic Park with the AT-ATs going through the jungle. Like I felt like it was a T-Rex type of thing. I love Jurassic Park. The whole beach stuff is very Saving Private Ryan.
Which
awesome.
Fun fact, I just found that like 2 minutes ago. The one of the dudes, I don't know his title. Like the guy who does like the photo, the film, like not the director, but he was in Saving Private Ryan and Zero Dark 30.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been no Star Wars movies that's been in a tropical setting like that. So it was visually stunning. There was like hundreds of TIE fighters fighting X-Wings. And this,
Yeah.
me and Nick were we arguing about that point?
No.
Or we're like disagreeing? Like for me, yes, Star Wars is very like this small-knit family, lightsabers and Jedis and this stuff. But I still very much love the grand scale space battle type stuff. I like it.
No, that was an agreement. So what this movie does is it goes back to what Star Wars was, and it's rebels doing rebel shit, fighting this big evil empire. Where again, and the theme of Star Wars is always hope, and they rammed that down our throats in this movie was hope, 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 hope. And so it's a bunch of rebels just kind of like barely surviving, and every time you see them launch an attack, it's like 6 X-wings. It's like they don't have the resources, and like if you're a Star Wars fan, you know this ends bad, this story, but it really sets that up for you really well. And but like that's Star Wars and minimal lightsabers. And I was joking, like episode 2, everyone's got a fucking lightsaber. You get a lightsaber, everyone gets a lightsaber. People get purple lightsabers. No one wants purple lightsaber. People get lightsabers everywhere. It's just like choreographed dancing. So like this felt more like to the original Star Wars. And I don't want to sound like a hipster, like, oh, that's my Star Wars. But that fucking is Star Wars.
It was grittier. It was grittier. It was nitty grittier.
What color
Right.
was Samuel L. Jackson's lightsaber?
It's purple. So fuck that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you're right. It was that
this-
dancing, very like whatever. This was more like, pff, like you're done.
Another very small scene that I absolutely loved, and I don't know, it stuck in my mind, was when they rammed the destroyer into the other destroyer.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was,
Good plan.
It felt minor, but it actually wasn't minor at all. It was,
Took down the shield.
It was a big point. And you would think this little ship couldn't push a destroyer, but I just thought
Because it was going down. Because it was
visually
already
and,
messed
like,
up, and he's like, "I got this." The admiral's like, "I got this."
Visually,
Get that
it was
thing.
awesome, and just like in terms of like, I guess strategy. I don't know. Would you want to touch on something like strategy? Jokingly.
Nah, yeah, I liked it. I liked for the most part. It was pretty good. It like the whole battle just seemed a little sporadic. Like it was just everywhere, but it was good. It was good. It looked like at the beginning there was like 8 dudes, but then then the battle had like 300 dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that kind of seemed a little off. Like in that first boat, like that ship, going to thing, there was like 8 guys in there with Rogue One team there. So it seemed
Good old plot armor.
yeah, exactly. But how about that K2 character?
Yeah,
He was
K2SO.
hilarious. So I just found out he's played by Alan Tudyk, which I know you both don't realize, but he's big into like he's Felicia Day's good buddy. Like he's in Firefly. He was in Dollhouse, which is a Josh Whedon show. He's just very much in pop nerd culture stuff. So that was cool to hear he was that. But all the robots in Star Wars are amazing. C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8.
But this one was a different level. This one had like sass.
Yeah.
Like the other two were like, "Oh, you've upset me, man."
Yeah.
This guy was like, "I don't like your
No,
attitude
you know,
one
Star Wars-
bit."
Star
Like
Wars
he
does-
actually grabbed his bag and went,
To be
know
honest,
what I mean? That
to be
was
honest,
badass.
You know, this guy reminded me. This droid K2SO would be essentially R2D2 if he could talk.
Yeah.
R2D2
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
sassiest motherfucker.
It's
in the
amazing how
Star
you
Wars
get
universe.
that out of a character. But could you rate the 4 droids?
"Who's
Yeah.
the
Those four-
fourth?"
C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8,
Oh, BB-8.
and
BB-8's
BB-8's cute.
BB-8's like the baby version of all this. Like he's a kid. You can't. Yeah. BB-8.
No, C-3PO's the bitch. We all know that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that was the old droid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, "Oh, you've upset me," whatever. But this one had character. I think a little too much character. A little too.
K2SO?
Yeah, had a little too much sass.
Like,
Like
because did you cry when he died?
no,
'Cause
I
he
cried
also died.
yeah, he also died. I cried every other scene.
I kept meaning to look
I
over to you, but I didn't.
I cried 3 solid times. I can't
What do you
remember.
mean you cried?
I cried. Tears
When
fell.
her dad died, probably you cried.
Yeah,
On the
hundo.
beach, you probably cried.
No, the beast didn't cry.
Oh.
I don't know, but I cried. Like literally, I cry.
Anyways. Did you notice there was 2? So obviously Leia at the end, her little quick cameo was CG.
Yeah, and he actually in the movie theater, he's like, "Is that guy CG?"
So
Arkin.
we looked it up. He's definitely dead, and he was definitely.
He died
CG.
in '94.
yeah,
And I-
because I,
I
said
had a
that guy
feeling
looks
that guy
good
was
for
dead.
150 because that's how old he
That's
would
how
be,
old
right?
he looked in '77.
Yeah. So,
And-
anyways, I totally didn't catch on that I thought maybe it was a different actor with really good makeup, but he was all CG.
That's full 100% CG.
Yeah.
That's some good CG.
Yeah. Leia was a little
looked,
jarring.
Something looked off with Leia.
You could tell
so
she was
I could tell
CG.
it was CG.
Because-
plus I know Carrie Fisher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he's a random actor, right? So I'm just like, I assume they hired someone else for that. But he was CG.
Yeah, and he looked good.
Princess Leia, and again, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like really good at this guessing shit. What did I say? But they showed her face. I'm like, you know what they're gonna show is just the back of Leia getting
I
the
think that
plane.
would have been cheesy in a way.
So you were wrong.
I was semi wrong. They didn't have to do her face.
but they
do her
did.
face, but
Yeah.
I think not doing it when we have the technology would have been cheesy too. Like,
Yeah.
I think there was cheesy no matter
And
what.
again,
It was a little jarring though. It wasn't perfect. We'll see how it holds up in 20 years. But
I think it was great.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
it
good movie.
made the full link, right? I made the full link. Again,
It's
I
a
go.
story I didn't think I wanted, but I definitely now do want it. I want to watch it again.
yeah, this movie.
To be honest with you, if I had to go back and say, if I wanted, I want a better episode 3, right?
Right.
This was a good 3.5, right? But I want a better episode 3. I want a better lead up to the rebellion and the
Yeah,
empire,
there's a decent gap between 3 and 4, right?
right?
You can still, there's about 20 years.
I want that story better. And so if I had to, you say, okay, we're gonna make a movie that's just before 4, after 3, type thing. I don't think I would do this story. So I'm happy they did it. I would have thought more of a bigger picture movie, not
Because
just
this
a few
movie,
characters.
like I said, takes place days before maybe episode 4 and leads literally ties in. And again, I think I call this one too. No big deal. Seconds, minutes before you turn on episode 4 right now, it's like the movie just keeps going.
Yeah, and I think that's that was a whole plan too, because it's DVD sales, Blu-ray sales.
Yeah, now
We need to sell episode 4. How do we sell
episode
4 more after 50 years? How many years has it been? I don't know, many. Right? We make a movie that ties right into it. Brilliant. Do it.
I
want to think that that's what happened.
From this era between episodes 3 and 4, the story you want would be maybe a couple years after episode 3, the forming of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
story
good
I thought would be.
So that's where people like Bail Organa, Jimmy Smits.
Yeah.
That
Good. You did that because I was like,
He was in 2 and 3, by the way.
yeah. No, I know.
And that's Leia's adopted father. That's Leia's father. So when she gets separated from Luke, she goes to live with him. He's like the king of Alderaan, and that's why she's a princess.
And then when Alderaan gets blown up,
Isn't Alderaan in Lord of the
episode 4,
Rings?
when it gets blown up,
Isn't it Lord of the Rings?
Almost nailed it.
when it gets blown up, Bail Organa is on the planet.
So he dies there. But so that would be a cool story to tell, would be the formation of the rebellion. Leia's a big part of the formation of the rebellion.
But my question is, why Leia? Why did they go get Leia? She's a princess, I know, and
She was
she's a
there for the whole
Jedi.
battle,
She's a
and-
Jedi because they identify her as a Jedi.
But
No,
No,
not
no,
in this
no,
movie.
Did they?
no,
When Jimmy
he's
Smith
talking-
turns
he's talking
around
about
and goes,
Obi-Wan.
"I'm gonna go get."
He's talking about Obi-Wan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Leia's always been like a hard knocks type of girl. She's not really a princess. I mean, you see that in 7 especially, right? She's a commander. She's in the army. She was there for that whole battle, even though you didn't see her in this movie today.
She was on that ship.
She was
right
on
there.
that ship the entire battle. She's not hiding in a castle somewhere, like Princess Peach.
She's she's a princess, but she's very much part of the rebellion.
See, I understood it when Jimmy Smith
Smith.
turned around and I'm gonna go get someone.
I know a
I
guy.
thought he was gonna go get her, and then
He
she's there.
He did.
No.
So
What does he say
there
exactly?
was 2 conversations there. First, I forget who was talking to Jimmy Smits now.
Moth Monma?
Was it Mon Mothma?
Mothma.
I don't know who's that.
That's the girl.
The woman. Okay,
With
good.
the short red hair.
Yeah.
She was also in 4 and stuff.
5 and 6 or whatever. Again, big rebellion leader. She said, she whispers what about the Jedi? There's 2 Jedi left at this point. It's like Yoda and Obi-Wan. So she's like, what about the Jedi? And he's in hiding or whatever. And Jimmy Smith says he served me well in the Clone Wars. So it's Obi-Wan. But then I forget what the next line of dialogue was, but it was something about
I trust him with my life.
No, I trust her with my life. Because then some other line of dialogue came in, and they were talking about who you're going to give the plans to get to Obi-Wan or whatever. And they, in that point, he was referencing Leia.
It's like almost like a chain. Like I think he's going.
You
to
missed
Leia
you missed
and
a
then Leia's-
sentence or something.
I might have just
Yeah.
had a seizure.
Yeah.
Like a little small.
Anyways, I think that you want to cover anything else.
I'm trying to think.
We had time.
There was, I don't know. I'm
Who
not
cares? Forever. We'll talk here forever.
Sub 20, man.
sub 20. Anyways, bonus fun thing about this movie, just to end it off, was there was a lot of cool little Easter eggs. You got to be kind of into the Star, like everything from like they had like a jar of blue milk, which is the weird milk Luke Skywalker was drinking in like the first scene you see, like little stuff like that they add in.
Two of the pilots in the Rogue, in the X-wings were actually from footage from 4.
Oh,
They
really?
put it in. Yeah.
I like how they have like, you know, big actors sometimes doing small parts. Like I feel like actors kind of go out of the way, being like, yeah, I'll be an X-wing
I'll be in a
driver,
Star Wars
or
movie.
I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
There was one scene I felt like I saw a guy that I recognized, but he was just literally an X-wing pilot, and he was just like, oh, there was one scene I remember this. It actually jarred me. It was like, okay, red team check in. This is red 1 checking in, red 2 checking in, red 3. I don't think it's a good idea. And then just like he doesn't check in. He doesn't say check in. He goes like, this is bad or something. Like he doesn't say it's bad. He says something. He doesn't check in.
I feel again like you missed the line of dialogue.
No,
or
I
you're
didn't.
missing the context.
No. It was literally right when they're going to attack the shield. Right? There's like red team on me. Red team check in. Like red 1.
This is the army
Red
talking.
2.
Yeah.
Red 3. And then there's fucking red 4. Like red 4. This is gonna suck or something. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. But he doesn't check in.
All right,
Good
well,
thing you don't command space battles.
But yeah, lots of cool little Easter eggs throughout the movie. And I think now this movie is required viewing.
Yeah.
It's required viewing in the Star Wars saga. I think you should watch this.
There's now 5 of them.
Yeah, like excluding the prequels. Like,
Yeah.
don't watch the prequels. Yeah, don't watch the prequels. You need to start with this, then episode 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, I
8
think
next year. See you then.
maybe not the Han Solo movie. Maybe that you don't need to watch. But this one's definitely
We'll
now-
watch it for them.
We'll watch it for
and we'll
you
tell
and
you.
tell you. But I think this one's definitely required viewing.
Yeah, it's good.
This is probably top 3. I don't know if I had to
It'd
give
be
a
hard
number.
to knock off either Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope. Like to dislodge one of those for sure would be tough.
It would be tough, but this definitely had a little. I don't know. People talk about tone. Like Empire is a very dark movie. This is a dark movie, sad movie. They both end on pretty bad notes. I don't know which one's ultimately the dark. A lot more death in this one, so maybe give it to
I'm
this
giving
one.
it 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5.
X-wing pilots.
And X-wing
We're
pilots
gonna be
that
tough
don't
on
check
this show.
in.
I'm not gonna give anything a perfect 5 ever. So 4.5 as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Is that our scale we're using?
Yeah. X-wing pilots.
I'll give it 8.5 out of 10.
So
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever
4.25 out of 5.
Dads in the Six
3 out of 5 with rice.
reviews Rogue One, a Star Wars story. One day we'll review something else. Let us know if you like that. Hit that like, share, subscribe button down below. And yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the movie as well. We're done. Goodbye.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.